right, so this was like supposed to be live, and it didn't work out that way. So we're gonna watch it again. But yeah, Alan Jackson has quit Nick Reiner's team. There's no real evidence as to why, but he held a press conference a couple of minutes ago, and like I said, I tried to get it live, and I was having issues. So I jumped into Dayton's room, and here we are. But when I found it, I haven't been able to confirm it with the news before the press release came out. So the press release was pretty short. Some people think it's over money. Some people think it's over, I don't know. I kind of think it might even have to do with Alan Jackson doesn't like to lose. But let's check out the press conference. Give me 1 second. You would think this was like my first time ever using StreamYards because I feel so completely disorganized trying to do everything like at a rush. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a professional.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, really?
Prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests.
Okay, how do you go from Alan Jackson to a public defender? That is not right.
As he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that.
That's a hard statement to make. Yeah, he kind of is guilty. He may be insane. He may be filing insanity, but he still did it. So then there was some after talk. I don't know why TMZ cut it off, but there was some after talk on there. So you're saying he didn't quit, he was forced to withdraw, allegedly. We'll probably never know the whole truth. I know that he's saying it's insanity, but he still did it. And 2 people are still dead. But I stand by what I said originally, and I said this to Jay. Knowing who Rob Reiner was, I firmly believe that if this is what it took for his son to finally get help, Rob is okay with him and his wife perishing. I really, truly believe that. As a parent, as somebody who would do anything to help my children, if it meant my death in order for them to finally get the help that they needed, so be it. And I stand firm on that. And I think Rob Reiner feels the exact same way. Hey, sweet misery. I think his son will finally now get the help that he's been desperately needing his entire life and has not been able to get for whatever reason. And it definitely goes to show that no amount of money can make anything better. No amount of money can get you off drugs. No amount of money can, or no lifestyle can change an addict or schizophrenic. And it just doesn't matter how rich you are. Not everything is a silver spoon. It is a very tragic story. I agree with that. It's tragic. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. But I guess, I was thinking about this too during the press conference. There's a pretty good chance that they went with a public defender simply because if they're going to prove that he's insane and they already know it, why do you need $1 million attorney for that? If the outcome is going to be the exact same regardless, you really don't need $1 million defender. We definitely have a broken healthcare system. But at the same time, every single day you hear about these stories about this one's mental health and this one did this because of mental health. I don't believe everything has to do with mental health. I think people are just fucking whacked. Like, just because you're an addict does not mean that you have mental health issues. I don't have any mental health issues. I mean, my kids might tell you I'm a little insane, but you know what I'm saying? Not everything is mental health. Sometimes it's just addiction or it's just something else. And I think people label this mental health thing way too easily. But that's just a personal opinion. Mother kills her kid. That's not mental health. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, that may not be a mental health issue. That may be you're just a fucking psycho. Which, I mean, I guess psychopathy is mental health. But you know what I mean. You guys know what I'm saying. My wonderful cough that I can't get rid of, that I'm probably dying. Right, Winston? Right, Winsty? So I'm trying to see if there's anything else on that. I was in the middle of working on the website. I really don't have much time. But I saw that. I was like, you know what? I should go live. And then I screwed it up anyway. See if there's anything else. See, a couple of minutes ago, they didn't even have, like, the news hadn't even reported it yet. Yeah, you missed it. It was only like 2 minutes. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, I can't get rid of it. Ever since I got sick, it's just not going away. He didn't say. He just said he had to. Do you want me to play it again? Sweet Misery is only 2 minutes. Hang on, I'll play it again. Here's the longer version.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiners' counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiners' interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. With me is Habib Balian. He is the Assistant Head Deputy of Major Crimes. He will be prosecuting this case. I'm here to make 3 points, and then I will not be taking questions afterwards. In our criminal justice system, every defendant is entitled to a lawyer who will zealously represent their interests and do so effectively. So too is Nick Reiner, whether it's Alan Jackson, someone from the public defender's office, or any lawyer. He's entitled to that lawyer, and we'll make sure he gets that lawyer. Second point, in the process of dealing with that lawyer, we will make sure, the DA's office will make sure, that lawyer is provided with full discovery of all the facts that pertain to this particular situation, whether it's interviews, whether it's any type of video, whether it's any type of expert reports. We'll make sure that that lawyer gets the facts necessary to effectively represent their client in a court of law. And third point, we are fully confident that a jury will convict Nick Reiner beyond a reasonable doubt of the brutal murders of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, and do so unanimously. Thank you very much.
Well, damn. That was a different twist.
How you doing?
Can you tell us
Mr. Jackson,
I need a little bit of room. What's Nick's mental state?
How's your client doing today, sir? A little bit of room.
Can you tell us who retained you, sir?
How is Nick feeling?
Is he on suicide watch, sir?
How is Nick Reiners doing? And how would you describe Nick Reiners? How's he doing? Have you talked to other families?
See, but here's the problem. What's the answer? Is throwing him behind bars, throwing away the key, going to do anything? No. Is that going to help him in any capacity? No. Nothing. He needs help. He murdered his parents. He has a history of mental illness. Throwing him away and locking away, putting him in jail and throwing away the key, not going to do anything. Putting him in a mental asylum, is that going to do anything? I don't know. What's the answer? But then it goes back to play devil's advocate on that, Kristen. What does he need help for? He's going to be locked away for the rest of his life. Why do we care? Do we care because he has money? Do we care because of who it is? Or do we care about everybody that's in jail who committed a murder due to schizophrenia or some kind of true mental illness? That's the ongoing debate. What's the point? If it wasn't someone famous or someone rich, would we really care? And that's like a whole debate, which I would love to have a panel about, by the way. Not right now, because I got to go back to the website, but definitely would like to do a panel about it. If anybody wants to come up, I think it would be a great panel to see both sides. But in the end, do we really care what happens to him? Yeah, definitely, Jay. Maybe we'll hook it up for tonight. Because I think they say like 70%, I'll have to read, don't quote me on this, but like 70% of all inmates have serious mental illness, like 10% have schizophrenia. And if you really think about it, what's the right answer? Why does it matter if he gets help? He's going to be in prison the rest of his life. Why do we care? Now, if it's somebody that's getting out, that's a whole nother issue. But if someone's never going to get out of prison, why do we care? Why does it matter what happens to him or if he gets help? I don't know. Just one of these questions you have to sit back and ask yourself. But I do. I think it'll be a good panel. Absolutely, Ninja. Actually, Ninja, you just gave me a really good idea. A really good idea. Maybe that's what I'll change my channel to, debates. I think going on that premise, take controversial topics, have people come up and debate. Kristen, you're a genius. I think what a great idea. Because, I mean, I love to debate. You did help. No, because you're right. And I don't want debates like BTIM does. You know, like I want people that are actually going to research it and look it up and come with a educated opinion. I think it's awesome. Ooh. Now I have all these ideas running through my head. All right, first one we'll set up for tonight. But I definitely do want people to have different opinions. Like, I don't want everyone to have the same opinion. Exactly, Ninja. Right? Who knows? Isn't it a great idea? I think so too. And I've been sitting here trying to figure out what the fuck am I doing with this channel? And what's going to keep me interested and keep everyone else interested and not be like everyone else. And nobody else is doing that. I think it's an awesome idea. Oh yeah, I could debate it. I could debate both sides. And know it now, I'm going to put this out here. I don't want everyone to agree. I want everyone to have their own opinions. And regardless whether you think people are going to like it or not, don't care. Everyone needs to have their own opinions. Or like to debate just because you like to debate. Kristen's a genius. Oh, Kristen, you actually got me pretty excited now. I think this will do really well. But yeah, tonight definitely will be on this topic. You'll miss tonight. Oh, no. You know what I did last night? Then I'm going to get off because I got to get back to the website. But I was on the website like all day. I had a doctor's appointment I totally missed. And I don't know what the hell happened, but I went to lay down at like 7 o'clock and I woke up at midnight. I was so disoriented. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I was up till like 4 in the morning. I wouldn't go that far about me. What, that you're a genius? No, I'm telling you, I've been looking for, trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with this channel and trying to figure out how I'm going to get a renewed spark in it and still enjoy what I do and not be boring and not feel like, you know, there's no life in it. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it. And boom, now I have direction. And I think it'll be really good. And there's certainly tons of topics to talk about. We have no shortage of current events around here. The Styx concerts tonight. I was watching a cheesy movie last night, and they played was it REO Speedwagon? I Can't Stop Loving You, I think is the name of it. I was like, oh my God, I so remember this song. Hey, Criminal Man. All right, so I'm going to get off so I can get back to the website. But tonight, Jay, be prepared. Figure 8 o'clock. I got to find out when Dayton's going to be gone. But figure 8 o'clock Central Time. Yeah, I think that's what the song was. But it just reminded me of when I was in high school and my heart was broken. We used to listen to all those cheesy ass 80s songs. So, but you have a wonderful time tonight, Sweet Misery. Enjoy the concert. Everyone else, I will see you guys around 8 o'clock. I'll set up the live probably around 6. And Jay, be prepared. And anyone else that watches this on the replay that wants to come up and discuss it, you're more than welcome. And I will see you guys tonight. Have a great night. Have a great day. Peace. And the website's like 70, I'd say 75% done. All right. I will see you guys later. Peace.